My beloved child, I have not turned my eyes away from you, not even for a second. As you laid in the silence of your room, tossing between thoughts and wrestling with feelings you couldn't even name, I stood beside your bed, my presence covering you like a warm shield. Every breath you took, I measured. Every sigh that escaped your lips, I interpreted. I saw your spirit trying to rest, but I would not let you settle because there is something far too important happening in the spiritual realm right now, and I need your attention more than ever. I have sent an assignment from heaven to your doorstep, and I am not willing to let this day pass without your spirit awakening to the divine orchestration surrounding you. You have been waiting for me to act, and here I am moving, speaking, surrounding, shifting, but if you are too tired, too distracted, or too numb, you will miss what I placed before you. I love you too much to let that happen. That is why I gently interrupted your sleep, why I placed weight on your chest not to scare you but to stir you, why you kept checking your phone without knowing what you were looking for, because my voice was calling to you louder than the world's noise. I need you to understand that this moment is not casual. It's not a coincidence that your heart feels heavy while your spirit feels light. That's me separating what no longer belongs and preparing you to step into what you asked me for. Don't you remember how long you've waited for me to do something different? You cried to me in secret for breakthrough, and now that breakthrough is sitting outside your awareness, knocking at your door, waiting for you to notice it's not another delay, but a delivery. But I cannot allow this delivery to go unopened, and that is why I refuse to sleep. I will stay close. I will whisper louder. I will move people, shift circumstances, disrupt the ordinary, and break every comfortable pattern that tries to keep you from seeing this divine moment clearly. The oil is ready to pour. The door is ready to swing. The opportunity is prepared to reveal itself. And you, my child, are the only one who can step into it. But to step into it, you must be awake, not just physically, but spiritually alert, emotionally engaged, and mentally present. This is not just another sunrise. This is the unveiling of a strategy that was formed long before you ever cried out for help. I need you to breathe deeply and realize that nothing around you is the same today. Even the air carries a different assignment. I'm releasing clarity where there was confusion, courage where there was trembling, strength where there was weakness, and I need you to reach for it, stretch for it, because what I'm giving cannot be received casually. I'm not waiting for you to be perfect. I'm waiting for you to be present. And even as you listen to these words, your spirit knows it is not fiction, it is confirmation. You can feel it in the tightness of your chest, the tear pressing at the edge of your eye, the sensation that this message was crafted with your name on it, because it was. I've waited for this moment longer than you know. I've set alarms in heaven to remind the angels to be on post today for you. I've canceled distractions, blocked certain people, made some plans fall through, not to frustrate you but to focus you. You were never supposed to move blindly into this day. You were supposed to rise and walk with awareness, knowing that the same Savior who carried you in your valley is now standing before you as a guide into the promise. I don't want you to go one more hour blind to what's happening. So no, I will not rest. I will not back away. I will not go silent. I will keep pressing until you stop waiting for a sign and realize you are standing in the middle of one. This is holy ground, and you didn't even know it. But now you do. And now that you know, the movement begins. My child, as you sit in this exact moment, there is a divine stirring surrounding you, unseen by human eyes but fully active in the realm of the Spirit. It is not your imagination, nor is it coincidence that everything suddenly feels unfamiliar or uneasy, like the atmosphere itself is shifting. The tension you're sensing, the unexplainable anticipation pressing against your chest, is the sound of angelic footsteps growing near. I've dispatched messengers carrying blueprints you haven't yet seen, strategies that weren't meant to be revealed until today, and I need your awareness sharp, your spirit awake, your discernment clear. This isn't just a spiritual nudge, this is a full activation. While you were going about your daily rhythm, a sacred operation was already underway, positioning divine encounters around the corner you were never planning to turn. But I'm here now, calling you to shift direction not because you're wrong, but because what I have for you requires your attention in a new direction. There are whispers in the wind right now, carrying names, dates, places, and answers that align with prayers you thought I forgot. Nothing is random. That message you heard earlier, the dream you almost dismissed, the delay that frustrated you, those were signs. I placed movement around you so that stillness inside you would break. I am rerouting some things that look stable only because you've become accustomed to delay, but I'm not allowing delay to disguise itself as peace anymore. True peace always carries forward motion, and today I need you to notice the motion not with your eyes, but with your spirit. Feel the pulse of what I'm doing. Can you sense it in the way you can't settle? Can you recognize it in the way people are responding to you differently, as if something in you has shifted even if you haven't moved an inch? That's because heaven marked you today. Something irreversible has already begun. I am setting new cycles in motion, ones that do not repeat the old pain, but instead multiply the promised breakthroughs. And though you might be tempted to dismiss this as just another ordinary moment, I am shaking your inner world so it can no longer blend into the crowd. You've cried out for the miraculous, but I must first strip away the familiar. That's why people are becoming distant without explanation, why opportunities seem to vanish and reappear, why your desires are realigning without effort. It's because I am breathing over you with new intention, and I refuse to let you sleepwalk through a miracle disguised in motion. Every detail you overlook becomes a doorway you miss. So, open your eyes wider, yes, even the ones in your spirit. Walk slower, observe deeper, pause when your soul flinches. That hesitation isn't fear, it's instruction. I'm trying to keep you from what looks good but will cost you peace. You've been used to chasing what claps loudest, but now I'm training you to follow what speaks softest. A gentle shift in your atmosphere is your confirmation. There's an alignment unfolding right in front of you, layered in silence, soaked in strategy, pulsing with eternal consequence. Don't look to the obvious. Listen for what's layered beneath. I'm not moving in chaos. I'm moving in precision. And if you pay attention to the subtle disruptions, you'll realize they are sacred redirections. Your surroundings are not as still as they appear. I have released divine activity to rewire your timing, your encounters, your next steps. There is someone I am steering toward you, someone you're not expecting but have been unknowingly praying for. There is a conversation that will not be just a meeting, but a moment heaven scheduled. There is a shift happening even now in your emotions, a peace arriving that doesn't match your circumstances, because I have ordered it to override your understanding. You must trust that what is moving around you is not here to confuse, but to confirm. Everything you feel out of place about is heaven making room. Everything that suddenly doesn't fit is because I'm reshaping the container for what I'm about to pour. My child, don't miss this. You're standing in the middle of divine choreography, and your obedience is the next note in the music. Move with me. Stay alert. Watch again. That thing you thought was delayed might just be about to knock. That door you wrote off may crack open unexpectedly. And when it does, I will be waiting on the other side, not as a stranger, but as the one who never stopped moving on your behalf. I've been speaking to you in the stillness, embedding messages where your conscious mind would not resist them, inside the fabric of your sleep, in the edges of your thoughts, in moments when your defenses were lowered and your heart was still open to the sound of heaven. You thought those strange dreams were merely stories, flickering images with no meaning, but they were maps, my child, maps drawn in light and shadow, filled with divine symbols I wove together to awaken something inside you that logic could never reach. In the silence, I whispered fragments of your future, and though the words were soft, they carried the weight of eternity. You've asked me for direction, and I answered not with thunder but with revelation wrapped in dreams, layered in symbols only your spirit could decode. I stirred your subconscious not to confuse you, but to prepare you for what would not make sense by natural reasoning. And even during your waking hours, I leaned close, I slipped phrases into your inner voice, nudged you through sudden thoughts, dropped a name or number into your awareness, repeated patterns until you noticed, hoping you'd pause and ask, "Lord, was that you?" Yes, my beloved. That was me. Every sudden memory that surfaced from nowhere, every name you couldn't stop thinking about, every time your heart skipped at a seemingly random phrase, all of it was me initiating contact, longing for a response, hoping you'd lean in closer and not brush it off as a fleeting feeling. When you felt compelled to stop and stare at the sky or sit quietly in the middle of your chaos, that stillness was a doorway, and my voice was waiting on the other side. I've never stopped talking, I just needed you to recognize that my language isn't always loud. Sometimes I speak in the discomfort that keeps you from making a wrong move. Other times I speak in a scripture that suddenly feels alive, as if it was written only for your situation. And often, I choose the language of dreams, because there you are unguarded, and my truth can slip into places you've unknowingly walled off. Even your restlessness is a signal when you lie awake and cannot explain the ache inside you. It's because my presence is pressing on something I want you to notice. I'm teaching you to listen not just with ears but with discernment, to recognize the divine frequency that doesn't match the noise around you. You asked me for answers and I sent clues. You begged for clarity, and I offered pieces that only made sense when prayed over, not analyzed. I'm not hiding truth from you, I'm drawing you deeper into it. If I spoke to you in full sentences, you'd run ahead of me with half the picture. But when I speak in fragments, it invites intimacy, it requires you to come closer, to ask, to seek, to trust. And I need you to keep trusting even when the messages don't feel complete. Because the puzzle I'm building in your life will not be solved with human intellect. It will be revealed by spiritual hunger. The more you press in, the more I unfold. And even now, there are messages you've forgotten that will come back to life today, not because they were false, but because their appointed time has finally arrived. What seemed random was not random at all. That dream you didn't understand was a prophecy for this exact hour. That phrase you wrote down months ago but never interpreted, it holds weight now because the moment it was meant for is here. I want you to go back. Review the journal. Revisit the prayer. Recall the impression you dismissed. I am resurfacing old signs because they were not expired, they were simply waiting. And now, I am connecting every divine whisper, every nocturnal vision, every passing intuition into a clear, undeniable pattern that points to me. You do not need to figure it all out. You need only to acknowledge that it was me speaking all along. And once you do, everything that felt like confusion will suddenly reveal its structure. The veil will lift. The scattered pieces will click into alignment. And you will weep not because you were lost, but because you will realize I've been guiding you even when you thought I was silent. So pause now, breathe deep, and ask me again what those moments meant. I am ready to answer with clarity that will leave you stunned, and direction that will shift your very path. This moment hath been carved out of eternity with deliberate hands. My child, it is not part of the ordinary rhythm you're used to walking through. There is an invisible shift occurring right now, something wholly stirring beneath the surface of your life, and I need you to sense it, to align with it, to awaken to what I've hidden in this very hour. You've passed through countless days that felt mundane, where nothing appeared to change, where you questioned if I even heard your cries. But today everything is different, not by chance but by decree. The spiritual realm is charged with activity, and heaven is leaning in to watch what you do next. This isn't just another morning, afternoon, or evening, it is the intersection of divine timing and your earthly journey. Sacred alignments are colliding, assignments are being transferred, old seasons are dissolving like mist, and new appointments are rising like dawn. I position this day on your path not as a filler, but as a turning point, a defining marker that will stand out in hindsight as the place where breakthrough was born. The reason you feel unsettled yet strangely expectant is because your spirit recognizes that something set apart is breathing into your reality. This isn't emotional hype or wishful thinking, it's sacred activation. You are stepping onto ground that angels have already walked upon. You are being drawn into movements that prophets longed to see. I have wrapped today in divine significance, and those who are awake will perceive it. but those who sleepwalk through it will miss the miracle embedded in its fabric. That's why I'm calling out to you with such urgency. I don't want you to repeat old cycles on a day designed to deliver you from them. I don't want you clinging to yesterday's instructions when I've written new directives into today's breath. What you choose in this sacred space will ripple across dimensions you cannot yet see. Be alert, my child. Be fully here, not halfway present, not distracted by what didn't happen yesterday or what might occur tomorrow. Today has been given to you with intention, and I am walking through it beside you with a pace that invites partnership. You are not a spectator in this unfolding, you are the center of what I am doing. The people you cross paths with today, the conversations you engage in, the sudden thoughts that surface, the divine interruptions to your routine, they are all laced with meaning. I'm not merely working around you, I am moving through you. You will feel your steps guided toward places that carry answers. You will sense a pull toward actions that carry weight beyond the moment. You may be tempted to treat it as another day, but your spirit knows otherwise. That weight on your chest, the sudden clarity, the urge to pause and breathe, that's me, breaking into your rhythm to alert you to something unfolding that is larger than you imagined. Sacred things don't always announce themselves with lightning. Sometimes they arrive wrapped in stillness, cloaked in peace, marked by an unshakable knowing that cannot be explained but demands reverence. And this day, my beloved, is saturated in such holiness. Do not let distractions numb you. Do not let frustration blind you. Do not let routine rob you. I have encoded today with purpose, and I will illuminate it as you walk. But you must walk with me step by step, moment by moment, aware that I am highlighting pathways you never noticed before. If you walk distracted, you may bypass what was sent for your transformation. But if you walk with focus, with expectation, you'll see what others overlook. You'll sense the divine orchestration behind every minor detail. You'll recognize that no part of this day is wasted, and every second has the potential to shift your life forever. So breathe it in. Acknowledge the sacredness in the air around you. Feel the weight of divine timing pressing on your shoulders. Don't panic, respond. This is not pressure meant to crush you. It is purpose meant to awaken you. Today is not like yesterday. It is pregnant with destiny, and I am birthing something new through it, through you. I'm not asking you to figure it all out right now. I'm asking you to remain present and sensitive, because the sacred unfolding has already begun, and I don't want you to just witness it. I want you to walk fully into the middle of it and become the living evidence of what happens when my people recognize the holy moment they've been given. You didn't recognize it at the time, but I had already sent heaven's help right to your threshold. I positioned a divine messenger with an answer to your silent desperation, a solution wrapped in quiet presence, standing near the places you thought were empty. That stranger you passed without eye contact, that message you nearly ignored, the opportunity that seemed too small to be the breakthrough you prayed for, those were not coincidences. They were my instructions wrapped in subtlety. But because you couldn't see the wings or hear the trumpet, you dismissed the ordinary moment as unimportant. I didn't send the angel in grand display because I wanted to test your ability to see the divine in disguise. But when you missed it, I didn't retreat. I moved even closer, not with judgment, but with overwhelming mercy. Because I refused to allow a missed moment to turn into a missed destiny. I came nearer in ways you didn't expect. I sat beside you when you felt abandoned. I stirred within you when the atmosphere grew heavy. I hovered in the stillness when you thought no one was listening. My presence grew thicker each time your heart grew wearier, not to overwhelm you, but to wrap around the aching parts that refused to rest. You've been looking for flashing signs and dramatic turns, but I have been quietly standing right behind you, watching your every move, hoping you'd sense me. And even when you did, I never left. I leaned in. I waited for you to feel the warmth that suddenly arrived in your room without explanation, the calm that stilled your thoughts mid-spiral, the inexplicable pull to pause, breathe, or cry without warning. That wasn't emotion, that was me calling again. Because when my messenger was overlooked, I made sure my presence was undeniable. You are never without covering. And even now, I've assigned more angels around you, not because you failed, but because you are entering a new stage of movement, and divine reinforcement must increase. These angels don't need recognition. They need your cooperation. When you feel led to pause before walking through a door, when your steps feel delayed for no visible reason, when your spirit suddenly becomes unsettled about a familiar situation, that's your confirmation. I'm not leaving you to figure it out alone. I'm providing you with insight disguised as hesitation, redirection that feels like interruption, protection that masks itself as missed opportunity. The angel at your door was never removed, he simply stepped back to let me remind you who the true source of your guidance is. And now that I've taken this moment to speak directly to you, I'm telling you to expect another visitation. But this time, don't look with natural eyes. Watch with spiritual expectation. The help I'm sending next won't be labeled. It will match the image in your imagination. It might arrive through someone overlooked, an unlikely moment, a disrupted plan. But if you lean into me, you will recognize it not with your logic, but with your spirit. And when it comes, I don't want you to hesitate. I want you to step into the moment like you know it was created for you. Because it was. The angel I assigned isn't coming with empty hands. He carries clarity, strategy, healing, and restoration. I've packaged answers into his assignment, and those answers are connected to your obedience. I need you to be sensitive to movement in the unseen. When a door opens that you didn't knock on, when a conversation finds you without effort, when peace enters in the middle of confusion, recognize that as your angelic moment. I'm asking you not to miss it this time. I'm drawing you deeper into awareness so you no longer pass by what was sent for your elevation. You don't need proof to believe, just trust that when I say I've come closer, I mean it literally. I'm in your space now. I'm interrupting your routine not to inconvenience you but to invade your timeline with eternal influence. My child, wake up to the fact that help is not coming, it's here. And it's waiting for your yes. You wondered why your thoughts wouldn't quiet, why even in stillness your heart beat like something urgent was approaching, why even moments meant for peace carried an edge of unexplainable anticipation. That was me, pressing gently against the walls of your soul, trying to awaken you before the moment passed. I wasn't trying to disturb you. I was trying to prepare you. I know how much you've been craving clarity, how your prayers have shifted from asking for comfort to begging for purpose, and so I answered not through noise, but through a divine unease designed to draw your attention upward. That stirring you couldn't name was the echo of my footsteps entering your inner world. You felt it in the way nothing could satisfy, in how even the things that once distracted you now feel hollow, because I've begun the holy unraveling of everything that kept you from noticing what I've been building beneath the surface. Your discomfort is not a sign of failure. It's a signal of awakening. I've been pulling you away from counterfeit peace and into divine urgency, because your appointed time is colliding with the timeline of heaven. I've stirred your spirit because there is something you are meant to carry, something weighty, something sacred, and it cannot be placed on a distracted heart. I couldn't let you rest in shallow waters when I've prepared you for depths that few are willing to enter. I know it's disorienting. I know you've searched for reasons, questioned your emotions, doubted your strength, but none of this has been accidental. It's been an intentional shaking, meant not to break you, but to dislodge everything that kept you anchored in delay. I allowed the restlessness to increase because stillness without awareness is not peace, it's stagnation. I'm waking you so that you no longer mistake waiting for wasting. You're not lost. You're being rerouted. You're not stuck. You're being stretched. This tension is divine. It's the holy ache that precedes transformation. I'm not removing it until it completes what it was sent to accomplish. Your spirit has already begun to shift, whether you've noticed or not. Your cravings are changing. Your focus is narrowing. What once consumed your energy now feels irrelevant. That's not burnout, it's recalibration. I'm peeling back everything unnecessary because the assignment I'm about to place in your hands requires your full attention, your full strength, and your undivided trust. You asked me to use you, and now I'm making space. The stirring is the signal. The racing thoughts, the heavy chest, the quickened breath when you think of certain things. These aren't random symptoms. They're spiritual indicators that something is about to break open, and you've been chosen to witness it firsthand. But first, I must make you aware. I had to disrupt your patterns. I had to break your rhythm. I had to interrupt your sense of normal so that I could position you for what's divine. The restlessness wasn't a burden. I was calling your name in the only language your current season would understand. I was knocking through your discomfort. I was speaking through your pause. I was reminding you that you're not just existing, you're being summoned. I didn't wait for the perfect conditions because I needed you to know that my presence is not dependent on your perfection. I stepped into your disorder because I needed you to hear me now. And even in this very moment, you can feel that this message isn't random. It's piercing into the deepest parts of you, confronting what you tried to hide, unlocking doors you didn't even realize were shut. That's me again. This is another moment of stirring. And this time, I need you not to shake it off. Don't numb it. Don't brush it aside. Sit in it. Listen. Allow the ache to open your eyes. Allow the lack of rest to turn into reverence. I'm not just trying to get your attention, I'm trying to align your soul with heaven's movement. And once that alignment occurs, what felt like heaviness will become clarity. What felt like noise will turn into direction. What seemed like disruption will reveal itself as an invitation. You were never meant to sleep through this season. That's why I keep stirring you. That's why I keep calling. That's why I won't stop until you respond, not with fear, but with surrender. You kept asking me for a sign, pleading for direction, longing for a voice from heaven that would shatter the silence and point the way with no ambiguity, and so I responded, but not in the way you anticipated. I chose to answer not with the dramatic, but with the deliberate. I am sending what you asked for, but it is wrapped in simplicity, hidden in the ordinary, layered into still moments that require more listening than logic. I whispered during pauses in your conversation, nudged your thoughts while you washed the dishes, placed impressions on your heart as you walked past something seemingly insignificant. I didn't withhold revelation, I adjusted the volume so that you would have to quiet your surroundings to catch the flow. You were expecting thunder, but I chose to speak through the wind, the same way I did with Elijah, not to avoid attention, but to develop your sensitivity. I need you to hear beyond what is obvious, because what I'm about to entrust to you requires depth of discernment, not just surface recognition. You've prayed, fasted, waited, and now I am unfolding answers like petals in bloom, each one fragile in form but massive in significance. I've been speaking through gentle convictions, subtle redirections, sudden inclinations that didn't make sense in the moment but won't leave your heart. The instructions I'm giving are not vague, they're sacred. They just require you to trust that I don't always speak in headlines. Sometimes the instructions come through a new discomfort, through unexplainable peace, through a sudden desire to release something you once clung to. They're not loud, but they are precise. They're not rushed, but they are urgent. And even as you read this, you can recall times in recent days where something inside you was tugged gently, an idea you didn't pursue, a pause that didn't make sense, a situation you avoided without knowing why. That was me steering you. Those were my answers in action. I've placed wisdom into quiet places, and now I am testing your willingness to follow without needing applause or approval. Not all answers are wrapped in explanations. Some are invitations to follow me into mystery. You've been praying, "Speak, Lord," and I've been answering, "Move when I whisper." This is not the season for grand instruction shouted from mountaintops. This is the season of intentional guidance whispered into the soul of those willing to stay close. You won't find what you're asking for in the noise, in the urgency of others' expectations, or in the familiar paths you've taken before. I've shifted the trail, and I've scattered the breadcrumbs in places that only obedience will uncover. The answers are here now, hidden inside the yes you've been afraid to say, inside the conversation you've delayed, inside the door you've been too hesitant to knock on. What you've been asking me to send is standing in front of you, clothed in unfamiliar packaging. The person who feels too unlikely to help may carry the solution. The opportunity that seems too small may open into something massive, The task that feels too quiet may hold the key to impact that will echo beyond your lifetime. Don't despise the ordinary, it is often my chosen vessel. Don't overlook the whisper, it may carry the strategy your soul has begged me for. The answers are already around you. I'm not withholding clarity, I'm inviting attention. I'm calling you back to a posture of focus, where you don't need flashing lights, just faithful listening. If you wait for the dramatic, you miss the divine. If you ignore the nudges, you delay the fulfillment. I've begun to draw your eyes to what others skip over, to train you to see treasure in what looks like dust. This isn't confusion, it's precision. I'm not being unclear, I'm inviting you into maturity. I've trusted you with answers disguised as assignments, and now I need you to walk forward like you believe I already answered. Because I have. I've already given the next step, you just have to recognize the language I used. It wasn't with thunder or fanfare. It was with instruction small enough to fit between your heartbeats. And if you'll trust me with what doesn't make sense yet, I'll show you that hidden in that soft direction was the breakthrough you've been waiting for all along. You've become so accustomed to the rhythm of your schedule, the expectations of each hour, the cycles you've called safe, but I have stepped into this day with divine force to disrupt everything that was never meant to contain you. This disruption is not a detour. It's a divine invasion. I could no longer watch you walk through days that numb you, relationships that drain you, choices that shrink you. You were not created to blend in with the noise, to exist within boundaries built by fear, to keep postponing the version of you that I designed before time ever touched your name. So I stepped in. I shattered the illusion of control. I stirred everything that was still, not to frustrate you but to deliver you. Because your purpose has been whispering from the corner, and I will not let you delay another second. What you call inconvenience, I call divine acceleration. The plans you thought were solid had to be shaken so the ones written in heaven could take their place. I'm no longer asking you to make time for your calling, I'm making time bend to your calling. You've waited long enough. You've given everyone else your energy while ignoring the cry of your own soul. You've hidden behind later and someday, but I am the God of now. The reason your routine feels like it's breaking is because the anointing on your life has outgrown it. You cannot keep trying to squeeze purpose into a life designed for survival. I am not interested in polishing your comfort zone. I'm dismantling it. Because what's ahead of you demands more than maintenance, it demands movement. I disrupted the rhythm not to take from you, but to hand you something that would have never fit inside your old framework. You keep asking why everything feels unfamiliar lately, why certain patterns feel tight, why the joy you used to feel in predictable things has faded. It's because I've reprogrammed your spirit for expansion, and your daily structure is no longer compatible with where I'm taking you. This isn't burnout, it's the death of false alignment. You're grieving what used to work because I'm birthing something that operates on a higher frequency. Don't mourn the end of what I removed. Celebrate the access I just cleared. I know this feels sudden. I know you weren't prepared to change so quickly. But sometimes purpose doesn't knock, it breaks in. I'm not asking for permission to upgrade your life. I'm simply doing what's required to position you correctly. You've prayed for the miraculous, but you wanted me to fit it into a predictable space. Miracles don't come where there's no room. That's why I'm clearing space. That's why I interrupted everything you built on self-preservation. I'm replacing it with foundation that can hold the weight of the next level. You don't need to have a plan right now. You need to have posture, one of surrender, one that doesn't cling to the calendar but clings to me. Let go of your timeline. Release your assumptions. Stop rescheduling obedience. I am moving now, and your yes must be just as immediate. The invitation I've placed before you is time-sensitive. There are people on the other side of your obedience who don't even know they're about to be blessed through your shift. You are not the only one being repositioned. Your yes is a domino that will trigger impact beyond your comprehension. That's why I can't let you stay in this cycle. That's why I've had to make comfort feel uncomfortable. Because what you were settling for could not carry what I've stored up for you. You didn't miss your moment, I just brought it to your doorstep in a way you weren't expecting. So now I need you to respond, not next week, not when it makes more sense, not when people approve. I need you to respond now, because purpose doesn't knock forever. I'm not forcing you, but I am flooding your space with unmistakable signs that this is the hour. The interruption is your invitation. The shaky is your signal. The discontent is your confirmation. I'm here, I'm near, and I'm ready to walk you into what's next. But you have to be willing to move while it's messy, to trust while it's unfamiliar, to step while you're still uncertain. Destiny won't wait, and neither will I. The atmosphere around you has not been still, it has been pregnant with motion, vibrating with divine urgency, pulsing with expectation as angels stand by holding what has your name written across it in light. They are not idle. They are not uncertain. They are poised, watching, waiting, carrying the answers you've cried for in the night, holding the release your spirit has been stretched toward but your mind has not yet comprehended. All of heaven has turned its attention toward this very moment because what lies in front of you isn't small, it's a threshold, a defining marker in the timeline of your purpose. This is not about routine, it's about realignment. I've been patiently preparing this hour, orchestrating encounters, rearranging timelines, and softening hearts that once resisted what you carry. But now, everything is in place. The pieces have shifted into alignment, not by accident but by command. And the only thing left is your awareness. I cannot allow you to drift through this day unaware of the shift you've been summoned to enter. The door is not just opening, it is already open. But what's required now is your recognition. You cannot enter what you refuse to see. This is not a casual moment. This is the hour where the unseen becomes visible, where what you've carried internally starts to manifest externally. But recognition is the catalyst. The tug in your chest, that pressure behind your eyes, that inability to stay distracted by what used to satisfy, those are indicators that something has changed in the realm around you. I've released blueprints into the air, and the ones who are attuned will receive strategies others will miss. This isn't about position, it's about perception. I've watched as you endured days of waiting, not knowing that I was preparing the very stage that now stands before you. But now that the hour has arrived, you must see it through my eyes. Don't diminish this moment because it doesn't match your expectations. Destiny rarely wears a name tag. It arrives as a whisper, a decision, a moment of obedience that looks ordinary, but carries weight beyond what you can measure. You've asked me to shift your life, and now I'm showing you the access point, but I will not drag you across the threshold. I will shine the light, nudge your spirit, stir your soul, but the step must be yours. You are not waiting on me anymore. I'm waiting on your awareness to catch up to what heaven already knows. You're ready. Ready to move. Ready to break patterns. Ready to stop circling the same questions. Ready to recognize that what you're standing in is not just another day, it's a divine turning point. The spiritual realm has already changed. It's your recognition that will pull it into your reality. That's why the air feels different. That's why everything seems heightened. That's why your spirit is restless but hopeful. I've infused this day with significance, and now I'm drawing you into its center. But you have to stop expecting the shift to look like escape. Sometimes transformation looks like revelation. I'm not always removing you, I'm awakening you. And when you see what I'm showing you, everything you thought you lacked will begin to appear. Not because it wasn't there, but because you couldn't see it before. Today is not passive. It's prophetic. It holds codes of destiny that unlock new movements if you're listening. So slow down. Look again. That interruption. That delayed message. That sudden inspiration. Don't dismiss them. Hidden in those details are your keys. I'm speaking through the patterns, the nudges, the people who suddenly come back into your life, the new faces that feel strangely familiar. These are signs of the shift. You're not imagining it. You're not overthinking it. You're awakening. Your environment is responding to a call that's been echoing in your spirit, and everything around you is adjusting because you're about to step into what was preserved for this very hour. You didn't miss it. You're right on time. But don't wait for confirmation from others to move. When heaven signals, earth responds. And heaven has already begun. Now, it's your move. Look around with new eyes, listen with new ears, respond with new urgency. Because this isn't just another day, it's the day that carries your shift. The trembling in your chest, the quickening of your breath, the rising ache in your core that won't let you sit still or settle quietly. It's not fear, though it may wear its disguise. It's not nervousness, though it may mimic its voice. That sensation pressing down on you, making ordinary things feel intolerable and usual distractions lose their grip, is the unmistakable weight of my hand pushing you toward what I have appointed. You've called it restlessness, even panic at times, but I call it holy urgency. It's the force of divine purpose refusing to let you live another moment beneath your calling. I did not design you for small thinking, for shallow breathing, for empty movement. I placed within you a fire that has simmered beneath layers of delay, discouragement, and doubt, but now I am breathing on it with wind that will not allow it to remain hidden. It's stirring that wakes you before the sun rises, the ache that tightens your chest without a reason. The sense that you're meant to be doing something greater than your current pace allows. Those are not signs of crisis. They are evidence of calling. I've applied pressure not to crush you, but to propel you, because the version of you that can carry the next chapter cannot emerge in comfort. I am stretching you to see beyond the frame you've grown used to. You've tried to explain this urgency away, tried to convince yourself that it will pass, that you're just emotional, tired, or overwhelmed. But deep down, you know better. You know this is me. You felt me too many times to confuse my presence now. I am not distant. I'm pressing so close that your body feels it before your mind understands it. I'm awakening something inside you that cannot sleep any longer. The time has come for you to act, to speak, to build, to step. Whatever I've been whispering to you in the hidden place, I'm now declaring over your life in full volume. This pressure is the push before the release. You're not breaking down, you're breaking through. I am confronting your delay not with condemnation but with power. Because I see what's ahead, and I refuse to let you arrive there unprepared. That's why you feel this tightening grip on your routine, why you can't move through your days without this constant echo inside, reminding you that there's more. That echo is me. That squeezes my spirit. You were never meant to live within the limits others set for you, or even the ones you quietly agreed to when fear whispered them in your ear. I'm silencing that fear with force. I'm giving you no space to return to what was. When I call you forward, I dismantle everything behind you that tempted you to stay stuck. Attention is not impediment, it's preparation. The spiritual pressure you feel isn't here to torment you. It's here to reveal what I've placed within you. To remind you that you're chosen, that you're marked, that the season of silence is over and the season of movement has begun. You will never again be comfortable where you do not belong. You will never again find peace in places I've called you out from. That unease that visits you in the middle of tasks you once loved is not something to resist, it's something to acknowledge. It's the sound of heaven calling you upward. You've lingered long enough at the base of this mountain. Now climb. The top was never going to descend to meet you. You were meant to rise. You're carrying a blueprint that cannot remain dormant. You've been impregnated with assignment, and birth cannot be delayed by comfort. The contractions of your calling have begun, and this pressure is your sign that you're closer than you think. Don't retreat. Don't medicate it with distraction. Don't mislabel it as weakness. The urgency is your evidence. You're not off track, you're being activated. And I will allow you to ignore it anymore. I will keep applying this divine weight until your obedience becomes louder than your hesitation. Because the moment you step into what I've prepared, this pressure will transform into momentum. And you'll realize it was never here to burden you, it was sent to launch you. You kept asking me to take you higher, to change your life, to shift the very ground you've walked on for years, and I listened. Not with pity, but with precision. Yet when I began removing the very things that kept you stuck, you mistook it for loss. But I didn't come to take from you. I came to strip away everything that was holding you in patterns too small for the destiny I designed you to carry. That sense of comfort you relied on wasn't security, it was a slow cage dressed in familiar garments. You wrapped yourself in routines that dulled your sensitivity, in habits that soothed your fears, but silenced your calling. You surrounded yourself with people who praised your survival while discouraging your stretching. And while you prayed for me to do something new, you clung tightly to everything old. So I came, not gently, but with fire. I started pulling away the coverings that numbed you. I allowed the people who once felt like pillars to suddenly feel distant. I disrupted your patterns. I stirred your inner waters. Because your next season couldn't be built with material from your last one. I'm not interested in comfort that costs you growth. I'm not preserving what keeps you small, I'm igniting what sets you apart. You were beginning to confuse peace with passivity. You stopped risking. You stopped reaching. You stopped asking for more. And I love you far too deeply to watch you shrink into spaces never meant to house your anointing. So I disrupted your comfort not to harm you, but to pull the lid off your potential. I had to make what was once appealing feel uncomfortable. That environment that once fit so perfectly began to suffocate you, and that was my doing. I made it tight on purpose. I made the rooms you once loved feel dim. Because you outgrew them. You prayed for transformation, and transformation cannot be born where comfort is king. Every spiritual awakening requires a divine disturbance. I allowed frustration to find you not as punishment, but as fuel. I allowed your appetite to change, your heart to feel empty in places it once feasted. I allowed the things you leaned on to shift, so that you would lean on me instead. And while it may have felt like I disappeared, I was more present than ever. I just stepped out of the places you built without me. You didn't fail. You didn't do something wrong. You simply stepped into the season where I refused to let you live in imitation when I designed you for innovation. There is a unique sound I've placed in your spirit that comfort was silencing. There is a boldness I wrote into your bones that ease was burying. There is a voice I crafted through your pain that predictability was muting. So I had to remove what you wouldn't voluntarily release. Because your prayers reached me, and I responded with disruption that leads to deliverance. You asked me to break the cycle, and cycles often disguise themselves as comfort. I don't want you living a life that fits someone else's blueprint. I want you walking in what I crafted before you were ever aware of time. That is why the old rhythms no longer soothe you. That is why familiar patterns suddenly feel foreign. I've recalibrated your spirit to reject anything that doesn't carry the frequency of your assignment. You can't go back, even if you tried. The bridge to your former comfort has been burned by my fire. I'm calling you into unknown waters now, not to drown you, but to deepen you. You were never meant to walk the shallow shorelines forever. Your anointing is oceanic. Your calling is wide. And I've waited long enough for you to step out of the false shelter of comfort and into the power of full surrender. The tension you feel is the stretching of your wings. The instability you sense is the shaking of a foundation that was never meant to support you long term. I'm not giving you something more tolerable, I'm giving you something transformational. The cracks in your old comfort zone are not signs of collapse. They are evidence of birth. I'm expanding you. And expansion never comes easy, but it always comes with glory. So don't fear what feels unfamiliar. It's the beginning of your becoming. And I will walk with you every trembling step of the way. You tossed, turned, stared at the ceiling, reached for comfort, but nothing could quiet what I was activating inside you. Those long hours in the night weren't random disturbances, they were sacred appointments I personally set on your calendar when no one else could interrupt. I removed the veil of rest not as punishment but as invitation. You wondered why your body was tired but your spirit was wide awake, because I needed space without the distractions of daylight, without the flood of opinions, without the constant pull of responsibilities. In the quiet darkness, when the world is still, your heart is most open to hear the whisper that I've been waiting to release. The reason you couldn't find peace and sleep is because I had peace to give you only in my presence. You've been busy, beloved, mentally, emotionally, spiritually stretched thin, and in that chaos my voice became one among many. So I cleared the noise. I waited until the clock slowed, until your energy ran dry, until your thoughts began to wander toward something deeper. I stirred your consciousness not to trouble you, but to realign you. Because there is something urgent I must deposit into your life, and it cannot wait for convenience. I chose the night watch because you are more aware in that space than you realize. It is where your walls fall, where the masks drop, where your soul cannot hide behind productivity. It is there, in that raw, unfiltered version of you, that I have come to meet you face to face, not to scold, but to deliver something weighty. You've been asking me for breakthrough, for next steps, for clarity, for confirmation. And I've brought all of it in my hands. But to receive it, your hands had to be empty. Your plans had to pause. Your distractions had to fade. So I stripped away the sleep not as a thief but as a father who needed undivided time with his child. Here's a scroll I've written with instructions specific, strategic, tailored only for you, and I'm trying to place it in your spirit now. But I need you alert, receptive, willing to lay aside the comfort of routine to catch what cannot be delayed. What I'm releasing tonight is not for entertainment, it's for execution. The blueprint I'm handing you carries weight in the spirit realm. Angels are standing by with assignments connected to your obedience. Doors are about to swing based on how you steward what I show you in this hour. That's why the air feels electric. That's why your thoughts won't settle. That's why your spirit keeps pacing even if your body remains still. It's because the divine exchange has already begun. I'm not waiting for morning. I'm not asking for later. I've drawn near now, and I want to place destiny in your hands tonight. But to hold it, you must release what you've been clinging to. Let go of the frustration. Lay down the disappointment. Silence the mental debates. Come into this moment not with questions but with openness. I'll answer what you need, but first I need your posture. This moment is holy. I have opened a window over your life, and it will remain forever. This is a now moment. It demands attention. It invites urgency. And it offers transformation. What I'm giving you in this sleepless hour will feed you for the next season. It will direct your conversations, shift your connections, ignite your creativity, strengthen your discernment. I am depositing revelation that has been hidden from others, but accessible to those who respond when I call in the night. You did not miss your chance. You're here, reading this, feeling the pull, sensing the fire. That's your confirmation. You are in the exact moment I ordained before time. Heaven's spotlight is shining over you, and I am reaching toward you with more than words. I'm offering you a key to doors long shut, a key to freedom long delayed, a key to vision long buried under survival. Eke. Don't reason it away. Don't talk yourself back into sleep. Stay present with me just a little longer. I promise what I'm handing you is worth the surrender. This night won't end in fatigue, it will end in fire. And that fire will not burn you. It will awaken you. This door was not crafted by human hands, nor does it obey the rules of earthly systems. It was formed by my authority, sealed by my covenant, and opened by my voice. I designed it specifically for you, not based on merit, performance, or credentials, but by my mercy and eternal design. This is not one of many doors. This is the one that aligns with the blueprint written over your life before you ever breathed your first breath. And now it stands wide, radiant with divine opportunity, framed by grace, waiting not for your perfection, but for your willingness. Yet even as it stands open, I must urge you, it will not remain that way forever. The timing of this opening was calculated, calibrated to intersect with your awakening, and heaven is watching to see what you do next. You prayed for access, and I responded with alignment. But access without action leads to missed inheritance. You've come to this threshold not by chance but by providence. Every delay, every detour, every closed chapter has led you here. I have not wasted a moment of your waiting. I used it all to prepare your discernment, to sharpen your hunger, to break your dependency on what couldn't enter with you. This door does not open to the familiar. It does not accommodate baggage, bitterness, or pride. It welcomes surrender. And it leads not just to blessing but to responsibility. For what's on the other side is not ease, its impact. It's territory that I've already conquered for you, but you must possess it. The key is not in your pocket, it's in your obedience. The moment you step forward with trust, the invisible barrier will part. I am not asking you to understand everything ahead. I'm asking you to recognize the significance of what's before you. This is not a revolving door. It does not spin for convenience. It swings once for obedience. And now it is open, pulsing with glory, humming with the echo of your name, beckoning you to move beyond fear and enter what I've been preparing while you questioned your readiness. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to respond. The longer you hesitate, the louder doubt becomes. That's why the pressure is intensifying, not to break you, but to break the chains of hesitation. I've made the path clear. I've silenced the distractions. I've removed the counterfeits. And now I've given you the green light that overrides every red flag planted by fear. What waits on the other side of this door is not just breakthrough, it's transformation. It's the version of you that has been growing quietly in the shadows, waiting to be unveiled. The resources you've lacked are waiting in this new realm. The clarity you've craved is on the other side. The peace that escapes you in shallow waters is found only when you cross this threshold. I am not asking you to bring everything, only what's real. Leave behind the need for approval. Let go of the need for guarantees. Carry only your faith, your surrender, your yes. And do not expect applause. This door is not for the crowd. It is for the called. The masses may not understand your step. Let them watch. I will validate you with fruit, not opinions. I will mark your movement with unmistakable favor. But the first step must be yours. And it must be now. This door is time-sensitive because what I've scheduled in the next season requires your presence. If you miss this timing, it will cost you more to return later. Grace has opened the way, but grace must be met with action. I will not drag you, I will lead you. But I will not wait indefinitely. There are lives on the other side of your obedience. There are breakthroughs tied to your movement. And I've already stationed angels to walk with you the moment you cross over. So don't linger. Don't analyze the risk. Don't weigh the cost more than the reward. I've set before you a door that no demon, delay, or doubt can seal shut. But you must decide, will you enter what was always yours, or will you watch the moment pass and call it someone else's blessing? I've done my part. The door is open. The invitation is extended. Now, my beloved, move while the way is clear. I've been watching the way you pause at the edge of instruction, how you second-guess your prompting, how you overanalyze every move until the moment passes. That hesitation you've been calling wisdom has often been a mask for fear, and I can no longer allow it to hold you back. I'm stepping into the places where you've stalled, removing the false safety nets, and exposing the lies that convinced you you're not ready. I'm not angry with you, I'm awakening you. Because you've lingered long enough in the land of indecision, circling mountains of what if and maybe later that were never part of my design. You were not created to stand at the doorway of purpose, paralyzed by uncertainty. You were made to advance, to occupy, to shake ground as you move forward. Delay has deceived you into thinking you have time to waste, but I am the God of timing, and I declare this: the waiting is over. I am removing the internal barriers that you've used to justify your reluctance. I'm tearing down the walls built by self-doubt, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment. I'm calling you out of the holding pattern and into forward motion, not next month, not next season, but now. You've told yourself, when I'm stronger, when I'm sure, when I have more confirmation. But child, I am your strength. I am your assurance. I am your confirmation. My voice should outweigh every other sound in your life. And right now, my voice is thundering with urgency. Go forward. Begin. Say yes. Step out. Build. Speak. Right. Moo. I've given you time, grace, signs, opportunities. I've opened doors and sent people. I've whispered, nodded, and even shouted through situations. Now I'm activating a new level of clarity that eliminates every excuse that once felt valid. The fog is lifting. The questions are losing their grip. The resistance is crumbling. Because I've commanded it to. Not for punishment but for positioning. What you couldn't conquer on your own, I'm now dismantling by my spirit. That fear you couldn't name, I'm driving it out. That confusion you couldn't shake, I'm silencing it. That hesitation you couldn't overcome, I'm pushing through it. You are being delivered not just from outside opposition, but from inner limitation. You have carried chains that never belonged to you, chains passed down through patterns, through lies, through wounded seasons. But I am breaking them now. I'm not asking you to try harder. I'm empowering you to rise. Because what's ahead cannot be delayed another moment. People are waiting. Destinies are hanging in the balance. There are prayers in the atmosphere that will be answered through your movement. You've underestimated the weight of your obedience. It does more than change your life, it unlocks others. Your yes is not small. It is generational. In prophetic. It is the turning point heaven has anticipated. I know it's hard. I know stepping into something new without full understanding feels risky. But risk in my kingdom is never reckless, it's rewarded. I will not allow your delay to become your downfall. That's why I'm making stillness uncomfortable. That's why familiar places now feel foreign. That's why everything inside you is craving movement, even if you can't articulate where you're going yet. It's because your season of standing still has expired. I'm breathing momentum into your bones. I'm reawakening the fire you thought was gone. And I'm commanding every dormant gift to rise. Procrastination has no place here. Perfectionism has no authority. As if it is being evicted. You are stepping into divine momentum, and nothing will hold you back unless you choose to ignore the wind I'm sending to your sails. Don't wait for the next storm to obey. Don't wait for more signs to respond. You have enough. You are enough. I am enough. Let this moment be your marker. Let this word be your fuel. Because delay has officially been denied, and movement is now mandatory. I am not asking for perfect steps, I'm asking for present ones. Obedience will be your compass. Faith will be your map. I'll meet you in the motion, and everything you thought you needed will meet you there too. But you must start walking now. You asked, "Where are you, Lord?" While sitting in rooms that echoed with emptiness, wondering if your prayers had vanished into the ceiling. You wept in corners no one saw, clenched your fists beneath blankets, questioned your worth when answers felt withheld. And I was there closer than breath, watching as your heart reached for me even in the silence. But now that stillness has broken, I'm no longer whispering. I'm speaking through everything around you, and the volume of my movement is rising. I'm talking through closed doors and open ones, through interruptions you didn't plan and the delays you tried to rebuke. I'm speaking through the loss that made no sense and the opportunities that came without explanation. Everything that's shifting is me declaring that you are no longer in the season of waiting. I've already begun what you asked me to do. You're surrounded by signs, if you'll only stop searching for my voice in the old form. You've expected me to speak the way I used to, but I've elevated the way I'm communicating, and now I'm using your surroundings to get your attention. That canceled meeting, I spoke through it. Unexpected call, I was in it. That lack of peace in a place you once called safe, that's me announcing that your season there has ended. Don't call it chaos, call it clarity. The very things that feel disjointed are evidence that my hand is reorganizing your environment to align with where I'm taking you. You thought silence meant absence, but it was strategy. I quieted things around you to reset your sensitivity, and now I'm making noise again, not for confusion, but confirmation. The rhythm of your life is shifting because I've placed my foot on the floor of your atmosphere and declared it time. I'm shaking foundations not to scare you, but to rebuild you on something that will not collapse beneath the weight of your calling. You cried for an answer, and this is it. Not in a sentence, but in a sequence. Not in a paragraph, but in a pattern. I am speaking through movements, changes, sudden redirections, even people exiting without warning. Do not grieve over what I've removed. I'm speaking in the subtraction. I'm drawing a map with the very things you're tempted to resist. Every situation, every detail, every interruption is my fingerprint. I've interrupted your regularly scheduled program with divine broadcast, and if you tune your heart instead of your logic, you'll hear me louder than you ever did in the silence. This is not a confusing time, it is a clarifying one. But the volume of my voice will overwhelm those who refuse to adjust their frequency. You cannot keep looking for me in yesterday's frequency while I'm announcing your future in today's upheaval. I am not hidden, I'm just using new instruments. I'm thundering through moments that feel mundane. I'm echoing through interactions you nearly dismissed. I'm shouting not to frighten you, but to remind you that I've always been with you, and I'm more active now than ever before. Your life is not falling apart, it's falling into alignment. Don't mislabel the loudness of this season as spiritual noise. It's divine instruction. Don't silence what I've activated just because it's unfamiliar. You've prayed for me to speak, and now I'm using everything, every delay, every breakthrough, every shift to speak louder than the voices that once drowned me out. The silence has ended. The stillness has served its purpose. Now my voice is layered into your reality, and you must learn to interpret movement as language. That sudden change in atmosphere when someone enters the room. That's me warning or affirming. That unshakable knowing that something's about to shift. That's me confirming. At unease when trying to force a decision. That's me blocking. I'm not speaking to confuse, I'm speaking to recalibrate. And if you respond now, if you shift your perspective and listen with faith, you'll find that I've never stopped communicating, I've simply changed the method. The silence has ended. The volume has increased. I'm speaking everywhere, in everything, through every beat of your heart. And I will continue until your spirit stops asking, "Where are you?" and starts declaring, "I see you in all of it." You didn't understand it then, and that's okay, I never expected you to. When your heart chattered, when you walked through the fire without explanation, when everything familiar was stripped away and all that remained was the ache, I was not absent. I was designing something in the dark. I was using what the enemy meant to destroy you to construct the very foundation you'd one day stand on. Every tear you cried watered seeds you couldn't see. Every night you felt abandoned was actually preparation for encounters you weren't ready for. I let things break, not because you were forgotten, but because there were lessons hidden inside those fractures, lessons that would become weapons in the days to come. I allowed you to walk through grief not to crush you, but to awaken the strength I placed in you that only pressure could reveal. Your soul has been refined by heat that others wouldn't have survived, and the oil you carry now is not ordinary, it was produced in crushing, in pressing, in silence. That's why you're beginning to notice a new boldness in your voice, a new clarity in your thoughts, a strange confidence that didn't come from affirmation, but from endurance. This is not random. This is the unveiling. What once made you question me is now about to make others see me in you. The pain was a setup, and now the harvest is beginning to emerge. Slowly at first, like the first cracks in soil just after winter, but it's real. You're stepping into a moment where the invisible begins to take shape. The things you suffered in secret are now birthing a strength that will be seen in public. You don't need to justify the path you took, the evidence is arriving. What looked like loss was actually redirection. What felt like rejection was divine insulation. I had to pull you out of rooms you were never meant to serve in so I could prepare a table that fits what you carry. Now that you're arriving to that place, you'll begin to feel a shift not just around you, but within you. You'll no longer be triggered by what used to torment you. You'll no longer panic when things shake. You've seen too much to go back to fragility. I've solidified you in the secret place, and now I'm bringing fruit to the surface. Don't be surprised when people ask how you're still standing. They weren't there for the nights you bled prayers into pillows, the mornings you dragged yourself out of despair, the days you smiled while carrying silent battles. But I documented it all. I counted every cry. I marked every broken promise you had to forgive. And now I'm turning the page. This isn't compensation, it's fulfillment. I'm giving you what pain tried to steal. I'm restoring what disappointment tried to bury. And I'm doing it in such a way that no one can say it was luck, talent, or timing. It will be obvious that it was me. The wisdom you now carry will speak louder than your wounds. You won't even need to share all the details of your past. The glow of resilience on your face will testify for you. The way you walk now will be different. It won't be with arrogance, it will be with anchored awareness. You'll feel the difference because you won't be reacting from brokenness, you'll be moving from healing. You'll walk into rooms that once intimidated you and feel no need to shrink. You'll stand in places of influence and speak not from the need to be heard, but from the overflow of what I've placed in you. The season of hiding is over. The season of wondering why me is ending. Now you will start to see that every single moment that hurt was not wasted. Not one. And you'll start connecting the dots. The delay that frustrated you was shielding you. The closed door that hurt you was saving you. The betrayal that broke you was positioning you. Everything is turning. The script is flipping. And what you once called ruin, I now call roots. Deep, unshakable, hidden but strong. And now, my child, the blooming begins. You wondered why everything paused when you were most ready to move, why opportunities seemed suspended just as your heart began to believe again, why momentum slowed right when you thought breakthrough was due. But I never removed my hand, I simply placed it gently over the pace of your progress to realign your vision, not punish your effort. The waiting was not a prison, it was a preparation chamber. I needed you to see what couldn't be seen when you were rushing toward results. You were praying for clarity while sprinting past the silence, asking for answers while resisting the stillness that carried them. So I stopped the wind, hushed the noise, dimmed the lights, and invited you into a different kind of movement, the inner kind, the kind that builds capacity, the kind that doesn't make headlines but forges unshakable foundations. In the stillness, I revealed what distraction buried. In the pause, I exposed what pressure concealed. I let you sit in the space between promise and performance so that when the door opened, you wouldn't enter it with cluttered sight. Your vision needed refinement. Your motives needed sifting. Your trust needed roots. And I couldn't give you what's next while you were still entertaining what I asked you to release. So I waited with you. I watched you wrestle, not to mock your struggle, but to purify your desire. I wasn't punishing your hunger, I was strengthening it. Because the weight of the promise you're about to carry would have crushed the version of you that first asked for it. So I stretched your patience, not to frustrate you, but to increase your capacity to steward what's coming. Timing is not my delay tactic, it is my integrity. I don't withhold what you're ready for, but I will protect what you're not prepared to handle. And now, finally, your focus has shifted. You're not chasing attention, you're pursuing alignment. You're not running for applause, you're listening for instruction. I see the shift in your prayers. I hear the difference in your silence. You're no longer pleading out of panic, you're waiting with expectation. That's what I've been waiting for. And because you've turned your face toward me instead of turning your back in disappointment, I'm about to reward your posture with motion. The waiting wasn't passive, it was pressure applied in love. It pressed out your need for validation. It extracted your tendency to compare. It crushed the lie that you had to prove yourself. Now you're walking lighter, hearing clearer, sensing me in ways you never did when you were surrounded by noise. I've recalibrated your inner compass. I've retrained your spiritual ears. You've stopped checking everyone else's lane and started listening for your own cue, and here it comes. The signal is being released. The gate is opening. The green light is glowing. But this time, you're not stumbling through in desperation. You're walking in with resolve, dignity, and peace. Because this time, you won't be distracted. You won't be rushed. You won't second-guess the confirmation that pulses in your spirit. You'll notice details you used to miss. You'll step slower but with more accuracy. You'll choose carefully because you finally value what I've entrusted to you. The waiting shaped you into a vessel that can hold oil without leaking. And now, I'm filling that vessel. Overflow is coming, but not chaos. Favor is coming, but not frenzy. Influence is coming, but not instability. And it's all because you waited not just physically, but spiritually. You didn't run when the pace slowed. You didn't curse the silence. You leaned in. You opened your hands. You gave me room. And now, I'm giving you momentum that cannot be manufactured by man. This won't feel forced. It won't feel fragile. It will flow. And when it does, you'll recognize it as familiar not because you've been there before, but because I prepared you for it in the waiting. You'll know what to do when the moment arrives because I trained you in stillness. You'll know how to walk when things accelerate because I taught you discipline when nothing moves. And now that your focus is sharp, your heart is steady, and your hands are clean, I say to you, move. I've waited for this as long as you have. Right now, you are positioned in a divine tension, a space where everything behind you feels familiar but hollow, and everything ahead of you feels unformed but magnetic. You're not stuck, you're being shifted. What feels like pause is actually me applying force, not to harm but to launch. You've been trying to plant your feet where I only asked you to pass through, and now I am interrupting your grip on what no longer has your name on it. This line you're standing on, it's not just a moment in time, it's a crossing point. Behind you are cycles I've already severed, people I've already released, and versions of yourself that served a purpose but can no longer survive the altitude of where I'm taking you. Ahead of you is territory that your faith has yet to explore, promises that have waited in silence, doors that stayed closed only because you weren't positioned to enter. But now you are. You've wrestled long enough with uncertainty, questioned long enough whether it's me or your imagination, tiptoed long enough around decisions that required your full weight. This is the end of hesitation. I'm asking you to peek at what's next. I'm commanding you to step into it. I am the one who has drawn this line in the spirit and now declares that you must cross it. It is not a suggestion. It's an activation. I'm waited for you to release what was comfortable. I've been patient as you negotiated with the old. I watched with mercy as you replayed yesterday's mistakes, as you held tight to what gave you identity when everything else was shaking. But now I'm speaking with clarity. That season is done. The oil has dried on what once worked. The provision has shifted. The grace has moved forward, and you must follow. Staying here will only produce frustration, not fruit. You can't build in a place that's been spiritually vacated. I've already moved ahead of you, preparing what your eyes have not yet seen but what your spirit is beginning to sense. That pressure in your chest, that urgency in your bones, that strange disinterest in what used to thrill you. It's the signal. You're not losing passion, you're being detached from what no longer aligns. And I'm the one causing it. You seem purpose pulls. It tugs relentlessly when it knows your feet are planted on soil meant only for passing. That's why nothing around you is sitting right anymore. It's not dysfunction, it's divine dissatisfaction. You matured, even if you don't feel it. The things you tolerated before are now unbearable, not because you're bitter, but because I've upgraded your discernment. You're seeing through illusions. You're recognizing counterfeits. You're spotting patterns before they entangle. And this is not coincidence. This is growth. And growth requires movement. So I'm pushing not to overwhelm, but to release. I'm nudging you across this spiritual threshold with love that won't allow you to regress. I am stirring your atmosphere to the point that staying still would now feel like suffocating. That's on purpose. Because if I allowed you to get too comfortable at this threshold, you'd make a home in a hallway meant only for transition. I'm too invested in your destiny to let you linger in limbo. You've prayed for more, and I've answered with movement. You've asked for clarity, and I've answered with momentum. This line beneath your feet is sacred. It marks the end of survival mode and the beginning of strategic advancement. It's where excuses die and execution begins. It's where identity meets assignment. It's where faith stops being an idea and becomes a lifestyle. I won't let you retreat. I won't let you rewind. I won't let you rebuild in ruins I've already closed. What's ahead of you carries too much weight to be delayed by backward glances. The glory waiting on the other side of this shift will not wait forever. It's not because I'm cruel, it's because I know what I've prepared, and I won't allow you to miss it out of fear. So yes, I am putting, gently but firmly, lovingly but urgently. This push is not a punishment, it's the fulfillment of every promise you thought I forgot. And when your feet move, even just an inch, you'll feel it, the release, the alignment, the wind. You're not falling, you're crossing over. You've grown accustomed to adapting, to making do with what was never meant to remain. You've learned how to decorate temporary spaces as if they were permanent dwellings, shaping your life around survival rather than surrender. And though I was there with you in the wilderness, guiding, providing, sustaining, I never intended for you to stay where you were only called to transition. A seasoned service purpose. The lessons have been gathered. The tests have revealed your resilience. But now I must confront the places where you've begun to pitch tents in lands that were never part of your inheritance. I see where you've tried to anchor in familiarity just to find some sense of peace. I see how you've convinced yourself that this is enough because disappointment made you question whether there would ever be more. But I am the God who does not tease with promise, I deliver with purpose. And I'm declaring that this time, you will not shrink to fit what's beneath you. You will not negotiate with mediocrity to protect your comfort. I've already begun dismantling the illusions you clung to, not to confuse you, but to remove every false security that kept you small. The people who walked away weren't punishment, they were proof of pruning. The doors that closed weren't rejection, they were realignment. You were never supposed to be defined by temporary shelters. They were meant to prepare you for the house I've been building out of sight. And now, that house is ready, but you must move. I will not allow you to convince yourself that peace is found in places that no longer hold your future. That subtle discomfort, that whisper in your spirit every time you try to settle again. That's me, pulling you up, calling you out, refusing to let you stay where destiny cannot breathe. I am breaking cycles that kept you circling mountains you should have conquered long ago. You were never meant to repeat what I've already redeemed. You've outgrown spaces you once prayed to enter, not because they were wrong, but because they were temporary. Growth will always lead you into tension with your surroundings. But tension is not trauma, it's transition. And I am walking with you through it. You don't need to fear the unfamiliar. What's ahead has already been saturated in grace. It's been waiting for your courage to catch up to your calling. You'll know it's me because you won't need to force it. The doors will open by my hand, not your striving. The favor will find you before you find the stage. But you must be willing to walk. I am igniting a new level of holy discontent in you, not to torment you, but to remind you that you were made for more than maintenance. Your spirit can sense it, even when your mind argues with logic. You know too much now to pretend you're satisfied with less. I've revealed glimpses of what's possible, and you can't unsee what I've shown you. So stop trying to blend into settings that don't reflect who you've become. Stop adjusting your volume to be tolerated in rooms I've called you to transform. If I allowed you to stay, you would shrink. If I permitted comfort to linger, you would delay purpose in the name of peace. So I'm removing the cushions that kept you content in places I only meant you to pass through. The temporary has expired. The eternal is calling. I won't let you romanticize what once hurt you. I won't let you glorify what only grew you. Some seasons were survival, and that's okay, but now it's time to build. It's time to possess. It's time to step into what was reserved for you when you didn't yet believe it was possible. This is the moment where you leave the wilderness mindset behind. You will no longer eat manna in fear of lack. I've prepared a table. You will no longer wander wondering when it will change. I'm declaring that the shift is now. But the shift requires movement. Not just physical but mental, emotional, spiritual. You cannot carry the weight of your future with the habits of your past. Let go. Rise up. Move forward. I am with you, not just beside you, but ahead of you, preparing everything your soul was made to experience. This is not another test. This is the fulfillment. And you won't miss it because I won't let you settle again. You spent seasons surrounded by people who couldn't see you, who tolerated your light only when it was dimmed, who celebrated your presence when it served their need but vanished when your spirit began to rise. I watched you invest in relationships that drained you, stay loyal to circles that delayed you, and hold tightly to familiar voices even as they echoed with doubt, jealousy, or silence when you needed affirmation the most. But now, I'm rewriting the room. I'm releasing people into your atmosphere who have been handpicked by heaven, ones who are not threatened by your growth but sent to water it. These are not casual acquaintances, they are covenant alignments. They won't compete with your calling, they'll protect it. They won't silence your voice, they'll amplify it. I'm bringing people who won't only speak into your destiny, but who will walk beside you while you fulfill it. And this time, you'll feel the difference. Their presence will not cause you to shrink. Their words won't stir confusion. Their energy won't feel heavy. Instead, when you encounter them, you'll recognize them by peace, the kind that doesn't just calm you, but confirms you. I've removed certain relationships not out of cruelty, but out of kindness. I saw what you didn't, the motives hidden beneath the surface, the subtle manipulation, the masked discouragement wrapped in shallow praise. I saw how you cried in silence, wondering why they didn't fight for you, didn't understand you, didn't show up for you. And I need you to know it's because they weren't assigned to carry the weight of where I'm taking you next. The climb requires companions who understand covenant, not convenience. And so I've made room. I've cleared space. And now, I'm sending those who are anointed to walk this next stretch with you. Don't resist the new because it looks unfamiliar. Don't second-guess what feels healthy because dysfunction became your normal. I am restoring your standard for relationship. I am reintroducing you to honor, loyalty, purity, and purpose in connection. Some of these people will arrive quietly, without a grand entrance. But their consistency will speak louder than charisma. Their presence will stabilize, not stir drama. They will see you not the version you perform, but the one you hide when you're tired. And they will cover you, pray for you, challenge you with truth when you want to hide in excuses. I am healing your relational lens so you no longer choose based on comfort, but by discernment. You won't keep inviting people close who mirror your brokenness, you will be drawn to those who reflect your restoration. These divine connections will feel like reminders of what I always intended relationship to be: safe, holy, sharpening. And I don't want you to sabotage what I'm sending by comparing it to what I removed. Don't let old winds interpret new blessings. Don't project past disappointments onto present appointments. These connections are not here to repeat pain. They are here to rewrite it. Some will come as mentors, others as peers. Some may come as spiritual family. A few will simply be answers to prayers you never spoke aloud. But each will carry something necessary for this stage of your assignment. I'm bringing you into alignment with people who have been praying for someone like you too. You are the answer to their waiting just as they are to yours. That's how heaven works. I don't just give you what you need. I also give you someone who needs what you carry. And when these connections come, I need you to open your heart again. I know trust is fragile. I know betrayal made you build walls. But I am not asking you to be unwise, I'm asking you to be willing. You could have boundaries and still receive blessing. You can guard your heart without closing it. I'm not telling you to chase people. I'm telling you to recognize who I'm sending. Look beyond surface. Listen in the spirit. Watch for fruit, not just words. And when you feel that peace, the kind that silences your overthinking, that aligns without effort, that encourages you without needing attention, receive it. These are not distractions. These are divine reinforcements. What I am building in your life cannot be sustained alone. Even Jesus had 12. You're not weak for needing people, you're wise for discerning which ones come from me. And these the ones, they come with my seal. You've spent years walking through halls where your voice echoed back at you in emptiness, where your worth was questioned, where your ideas were minimized, where your presence felt unnoticed or tolerated but never truly welcomed. I watched you remain humble while others overlooked you, remain quiet while others took credit for what you carried, remain faithful even when recognition was nowhere to be found. But I want you to understand this. I saw it all, and I have been preparing something far beyond what you imagined was possible, not just a new space, but a new realm. A door is about to open, not into a room you've already visualized, but into a dimension of purpose that you never even dared to speak aloud. Because the dreams you let go of when disappointment came knocking, I didn't forget them. The vision you buried when life didn't cooperate with your prayers, I kept it alive. And now, I'm setting into motion a divine unfolding, one that will place you in positions that contradict everything your past tried to define you by. I am taking you into arenas where your name was never mentioned, but your calling has already made room. You don't need to be famous to be chosen. You don't need a title to have impact. What I've placed within you is about to be recognized, not because you forced your way in, but because I opened what no man could block. This isn't about striving, it's about stepping. This isn't about proving, it's about positioning. The rooms I'm opening to you were locked to others, not because they were unworthy, but because they weren't called to carry what you're carrying. And you won't have to knock on these doors. They will open as you walk toward them in faith. They'll open at the sound of your assignment moving in alignment with my timing. I have already gone ahead of you to prepare the atmosphere. I've stirred hearts to receive you, whispered your name to people you've never met, awakened desire in places you thought were inaccessible. You're about to see influence manifest in unexpected places, places you were never invited to, but were always destined for. And it will feel unfamiliar at first. You'll be tempted to question your right to be there. You'll feel the old voice of insecurity try to whisper, "Are you sure this is for you?" But I need you to respond not with hesitation, but with holy boldness. Because this door doesn't open by your credentials. It opens by my word. You belong not because you fit, but because I've called you to shift the atmosphere inside. You were never supposed to blend in, you were born to carry light into rooms grown dim with compromise, to bring truth where it's been diluted, to bring clarity where confusion has taken root. You won't have to change to enter these places, you will change the places because you entered. And I'll give you wisdom. I'll teach you when to speak and when to listen. I'll surround you with insight that surprises even you. You'll know what to say in rooms that were built to silence your kind of voice. You'll carry my presence in boardrooms, classrooms, studios, platforms, tables, spaces that never imagined someone like you would walk through. But it won't be about proving worth, it'll be about fulfilling assignment. You won't need to impress them. The fruit will speak. The grace will carry you. The oil will distinguish you. And they will wonder, where did this one come from? And they won't know the nights you wept, the seasons you labored unseen, the countless moments you wanted to quit but didn't. But I know. And that's why I'm opening the door. Not as a reward, but as a release. It's time for what I've invested in you to flow into places that lack the depth I've built within you. Do not shrink. Do not stall. Do not sabotage the door by doubting its divine design. Walk through it with reverence, but also with resolve. For this is not just a room, it is a ripple. What begins in this space will extend far beyond its walls. I'm not just opening a door. I'm opening legacy. And you, my beloved, are the one I've chosen to walk through it first. You've learned how to quiet your brilliance to avoid drawing too much attention, how to soften your truth to keep the peace, how to fold your wings in spaces where flying wasn't celebrated. You became a master of blending in, not because you lacked power, but because you feared what would happen if others saw just how much of me was truly resting on your life. And I was patient. I watched as you diminished your presence, edited your voice, reduced your dreams, all in the name of keeping things stable. But now I'm confronting every part of you that made shrinking look like wisdom. I'm confronting every lie that told you being less would make you more acceptable. I'm not angry, I'm awakening you. Because I never anointed you to be tolerated. I mark you to make impact. And where I'm taking you, there will be no room for pretending to be smaller than the calling I placed within you. You cannot carry the mantle of transformation and still cater to environments that resent your growth. I've been tugging at your spirit, haven't I? You felt the tension every time you agreed to things that no longer align with who you're becoming. You sensed the pull in your chest when you stayed silent instead of speaking the truth burning inside of you. That discomfort isn't rebellion, it's revelation. It's your soul realizing that you were never created to conform. You were always meant to carry disruption that births revival. But revival cannot come from someone who's afraid to be seen. I need you to take up space not with arrogance, but with authority. The spaces you're clinging to are too small for what I've placed in you. And deep down, you know it. That's why you've been restless. That's why conversations feel shallow, why familiar rhythms feel forced, why things that used to energize you now exhaust you. It's not because something's wrong, it's because something's growing. You're expanding. Your capacity is increasing. And I will let you shrink to fit into the past when I've already prepared the future. You don't need permission to be fully who I made you to be. You don't need a vote of approval to step into the full measure of your identity. I've already affirmed you. I've already chosen you. And now I'm calling you out not to embarrass you, but to elevate you. I'm exposing every false agreement you made with fear and calling you back into the boldness I breathed into you at birth. You were never average. That was never your portion. And that's why mediocrity has always felt like suffocation. That's why people-pleasing has always left you empty. That's why small thinking has never satisfied you. Because your DNA is drenched in destiny, and no matter how many times you've tried to disguise it, it keeps resurfacing. I will no longer let you hide behind humility that's really just fear in disguise. True humility is not denying what I've placed in you, it's surrendering to it fully. It's carrying the weight of your calling with reverence, not reluctance. It's stepping into your assignment without apologizing for it. I know the fear. I know you've been misunderstood. I know boldness has cost you before. But this time, you won't lose what matters. This time, I'm surrounding you with people who see your rise as a signal to rise to. This time, I'm creating environments that demand your fullness, not resent it. But for those places to be revealed, you must first stop clinging to the ones that reward your shrinking. I can't show you what's ahead if you keep holding the door open to what I closed. Release it. Release the identity that was shaped by survival. Release the version of yourself built in response to rejection. Release the habits that kept you safe but stuck. You're no longer that person. I've done too much in you for you to pretend otherwise. Step forward in the boldness of becoming. Speak with the clarity that only obedience creates. Take up the space I carved for you not to impress, but to impact. And when the voice of doubt rises up again, and it will remember this, I didn't call you to blend in. I called you to be a signal. And signals don't hide. They shine. I am stretching what you're able to perceive not just around you, but within you. Where once you saw in fragments, now you will begin to see in fullness. What once looked like scattered pieces will suddenly form a pattern. The fog is lifting. The veil is thinning. You are not just receiving sight, you are receiving insight. I am opening your eyes to see beyond the surface of things, beyond what is obvious, into what is eternal. The moments you once labeled as meaningless will now begin to shine with purpose. The people you couldn't understand will subtly become clear. The plans that confused you will now make sense in ways logic couldn't explain before. But as this vision increases, so must your stewardship. For to whom much is revealed, much is required. I'm not only giving you vision to dream, I'm giving you vision to lead. I'm releasing you from the mindset that only watches and into the posture that builds. I'm calling you out of the role of observer and into the role of creator, initiator, catalyst. You were never meant to remain passive while purpose knocked. And now that your sight is shifting, so must your decisions, your pace, your structure, your disciplines. This new clarity will come with weight, but not the kind that crushes, the kind that crowns, the kind that proves you are trusted with more. I am trusting you with territory beyond what your name has touched. I am entrusting you with clarity that others still cannot grasp, not to elevate your status, but to empower your steps. And now, I require a new level of maturity, one that chooses wisdom over reaction, one that embraces strategy over emotion, one that understands that access without accountability is dangerous. I'm teaching you how to hold vision without rushing its process, how to lead with patience and precision, how to manage divine timing without succumbing to external pressure. The clearer your vision becomes, the more vital it is that you remain rooted in me, not distracted by noise or swayed by applause. Because sight can either focus you or consume you, and I've made it clear that your vision must serve your mission, not your ego. You're beginning to see what others cannot yet perceive. You'll feel it as your language changes, as your desires evolve, as your prayers deepen. You'll begin to speak from revelation, not repetition. You'll begin to think like a builder, not a beggar. Your decisions will become sharper. Your no will carry authority. Your yes will be selective. Not because you're better, but because you're now aware of the cost. You'll begin to discern what drains you and what deposits into you. You'll notice which opportunities carry legacy and which only offer distraction. You'll stop settling for what sounds good and wait for what's in sanction. That is the level I'm bringing you into. It's not just about dreaming anymore, it's about birthing. And birthing requires precision. You'll no longer pray vague prayers. You'll speak with authority because your vision will be rooted in intimacy. You won't just react to need, you will respond to assignment. And while others are running after visibility, you'll be pursuing alignment. Because that's what happens when your vision matures. You begin to understand that favor isn't just for you, it's for the ones waiting on your obedience. You begin to realize that revelation comes with responsibility, and the clearer you see, the more deeply you must trust. So I'm inviting you into this next phase not as a spectator, but as a steward. Not just to admire what I show you, but to build with it. To shape your schedule around your calling. To guard your mind like it holds blueprints. To protect your energy like it fuels legacy. This is a sacred moment, a divine elevation. I'm giving you the kind of vision that creates movements. But it cannot be carried with yesterday's habits. This is the hour to rise not just in visibility, but in maturity. Your vision is expanding, and I'm expanding you with it. There is a precise assignment being released into the earth right now, and you are one of the chosen ones who must carry it. You've questioned whether you're ready, whether your voice matters, whether what you've walked through has prepared you enough to handle what's ahead. But I have already made my decision, and it has nothing to do with how you measure your qualifications. I saw the moment you almost gave up. I heard the thoughts you dared not speak aloud, the ones that tried to convince you that you were invisible, replaceable, insignificant. I watched as you showed up again and again, even when you didn't feel seen, pushing through waves of self-doubt while still pouring encouragement into others. That unseen labor was not wasted. It was seed. And I'm about to show you that not only were you noticed, heaven recorded it all. I've already written your name on the assignment, and no one else can fulfill it the way you've been formed to. This is not the hour for you to disappear. This is not the moment to shrink. I am placing you where your presence will activate dormant gifts in others, where your words will unlock chains, where your faith will be the spark that ignites a region. You may think, but I'm not the most skilled, I'm not the loudest, I don't have the platform, but none of those things qualify you in my kingdom. Obedience does. Hunger does. Availability does. And you've shown me all three. That's why the door is opening, not by popularity, not by politics, but by divine appointment. I'm not looking for perfect vessels. I'm calling the ones who have been purified by the fire of obscurity. I'm raising the ones who know what it feels like to be passed over, because they'll never take my glory for granted. I'm positioning those who have been overlooked in public but approved in the secret place. That's why I need you to walk into this next space without apology. You don't need to announce yourself, I will go before you. You don't need to defend your place, I've already made room. All I'm asking is that you silence the voice inside you that still measures value by what others recognize. I'm asking you to trust that when I say you are needed, it is not a suggestion, it's a decree. The world has enough noise. What it needs now is the sound of sons and daughters stepping into their place with truth in their mouths and purity in their motives. And that's what I've built in you. Through the battles, through the nights you felt forgotten, through the seasons where nothing made sense but you kept walking anyway. You don't realize it, but you've become the answer to prayer someone else is just now praying. You are the living proof that healing is possible. You carry an authority that only comes through survival. And now, I'm turning your story into a strategy. I'm turning your pain into a platform not to make you famous but to make you fruitful. Don't confuse discomfort with disqualification. What you feel right now isn't a sign that you're unworthy, it's the stretching that comes before being sent. You are not being left out. You are being set apart. And very soon, you'll find yourself standing in rooms you never campaigned to enter. You'll speak and people will lean in not because of your eloquence, but because of your oil. The weight you carry will be undeniable. And you will know that I did this. That I placed you where your heart would be honored, your gifts would be activated, and your presence would bring peace. I have need of you. Not just your talents, your obedience, your insight, your heart, your journey. All of it has shaped you into someone the world desperately needs right now. So I'm sending you not to blend in but to build. Not to impress but to intercede. Not to entertain, but to equip. Your voice is not too small. Your story is not too broken. Your timing is not too late. You are needed and I am the one who's placing you. There is a sound being released in the spirit that is specifically tuned to your identity. Only you can hear it this clearly. Only you can respond the way I need you to. It's not just a feeling, it's a holy summons. This is why you've been feeling the unrest, the stirring, the sense that something is moving beneath the surface of your everyday life. It's not random. It's not anxiety. It's your divine assignment rising up, ready to move from dormancy into demonstration. I placed something inside of you long before you ever faced disappointment, long before life tried to silence your voice or steal your wonder. And no matter what's tried to bury it, it's still there waiting for your yes, your agreement, your obedience. You're not just stepping into a season, you're stepping into a mission. I've kept it hidden until now because what you carry couldn't be mishandled by people who didn't understand its value. I had to keep you shielded while I refined the message, the method, the mindset that would accompany it. That's why certain doors stayed closed even when you were ready. That's why certain relationships didn't survive the shift. It wasn't about rejection, it was about alignment. And now, the time has come. I'm activating what has been resting, not to overwhelm you, but to remind you that I have not forgotten what I whispered to you in the beginning. This stirring is not an interruption to your life, it is the purpose of it. Everything else had been rehearsal. The real performance begins now. And I am not sending you unprepared. The wilderness shaped your resilience. The silence trained your ear. The pressure developed your endurance. Every loss purified your motives. Every no that made you question your ability actually protected the timing of this moment. You may feel unqualified, but heaven has already confirmed your readiness. The shaking you feel is me, waking up your divine potential. The time for hiding behind excuses is over. The time for sitting quietly while the world waits is finished. I'm calling you out of delay and into deployment. This is the launch. And the assignment I'm stirring is not light, it's weighty with glory, strategic in timing, precise in impact. I'm not asking you to be ready for everything. I'm asking you to be responsive to what I'm awakening right now. There's a grace being released specifically for your yes, a grace that will cover your weakness, accelerate your learning, connect you with the right people, and sustain you through the inevitable opposition. Because yes, there will be resistance. Anything carrying eternal value will always meet natural pushback. But the same power that's stirring your assignment is the power that will keep you through its fulfillment. You won't walk into these alone. I've already dispatched angels to walk with you. I've already moved pieces behind the scenes. What felt like disorganization in your life was actually divine choreography, bringing everything into perfect position for this very moment. Even your past is being redeemed into purpose. That story you tried to hide, it's now your gateway to deliverance for others. That skill you almost forgot you had, I'm reactivating it. That dream you laid down, I'm breathing life into it again. But this time, it won't be driven by pressure, it will be fueled by vision. This is not about being busy. This is about being intentional. I'm teaching you how to build what I've entrusted you with. The assignment is not about platform, it's about people. It's not about fame, it's about fruit. And every time you move in obedience, heaven backs you. Every step you take with trembling hands is still a threat to the kingdom of darkness. Because your obedience is a weapon. It opens doors, breaks chains, releases others. You've waited for a signal, and this is it. The urgency you feel is not meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you, to shake you free from routine, to release you into divine alignment. You are not here by accident. Your name is written into this moment. I've brought you to the edge of activation, and all of heaven is leaning in. Will you move? Will you believe again? Will you rise with what I've placed in you and let me carry you into rooms you never thought would open? The assignment is calling. The stirring is real. And I will not stop until you respond. Amen.